Welcome, welcome, one and all, and welcome to a review of what is perhaps one of the best Stormtrooper action figures ever made by Hasbro at the 3 3/4 inch scale. I think overall the best Stormtrooper that Hasbro's ever made is probably their Black Series Sand Trooper, but honestly, 3 3/4 inch wise, I think this is it, man. And I am absolutely elated that we are getting a standard Stormtrooper redeco of this guy in TVC coming up here soon, because oh my god, that figure is going to be amazing, and it's also going to be very hard to find if this figure is any indication, because this guy was very hard to find for quite some time. Of course, this is the Mimban Stormtrooper from Star Wars Han Solo, A Star Wars Story. I was starting to read the card art, and it just says Star Wars Solo, so that's kind of interesting. But anyways, yeah. This figure has not been easy to find. It's been available from eBay and all that for months now, absolute months. And it was online too. It was available on Walmart.com for $20, direct from Walmart. Not even joking. They were scalping their own exclusive. Ridiculous, right? And so I figured I'd hold out, I'd wait, and lo and behold, Walmart stores start getting them in droves. So hopefully you can walk into a Walmart right after you watch this review, see it, and say, hey, I really liked that review from that weird quirky guy on YouTube. I think I'm going to go ahead and buy this figure. And you do, and you open it, and you're finding it is absolutely amazing, because it is. Anyways, I need to stop rambling. Let's talk about the card art. So we have a Mimban Stormtrooper on it. Woohoo. We have Stormtrooper Mimban, Star Wars Solo. You can see those with your eyes, so I'm not going to mention them too much. Even though one noticeable thing about these new TVC cards is that the space for the figure is substantially larger than it used to be. Not exactly sure why, but anyways, let's look at the back. And back here it just shows Wave 1. That gives you any indication of when this Mimban Stormtrooper was supposed to come out. It was supposed to come out close to a year ago, probably, and it took that long to actually happen. That's nice. I really appreciate that. Thanks, Hasbro. Anyways, I like the card. Let's move on. Let's talk about the figure. The figure is very, very good. As you can see, the deco is exquisite. That is what you would expect from a $13 Star Wars action figure nowadays. And thankfully, they actually delivered. Oh, man. It looks so nice. The deco is just what you would expect. It is a dirty Mimban boy, and I'm very happy about that. The weapons are also weathered too. Look at that E11. That is awesome. And then his long rifle that I do not know the name of, and if you know it, you can tell me in the comments, but I don't particularly care too much. You have a rifle. It's nice. It's also decoed in that nice silver dry brushing. As you can see, the articulation on this thing's really nice. We're going to talk about that. He also has soft goods, which are interestingly put on. So they're strapped over his shoulders, and then they're tied together in the back. If I don't know if you'd want to like trim that knot. I'm not sure if it's supposed to be there or not, but honestly, the soft goods are the only part I don't really like too much. I just think they just, hang off the back a little awkwardly. Not too big of a fan of that. The deco otherwise is absolutely amazing. The sculpt work is dead on a Stormtrooper. And let's just say I do have a second one that I will be getting later down the road. I just need to wait to see my brother until I get it, because he bought one for me and I said, hey, that's awesome, thanks. And then I found one myself and I thought, oh yeah, I'm just going to get a second one. And let's just say I have no problem doing that. So, one thing I want to compare is this versus the 6-inch Black Series version, because if you know me, I don't really collect 6-inch Black Series much anymore, but I actually, get out of there, I actually did get the 6-inch Black Series Mimban Stormtrooper because it looks awesome, and what do you know, it is awesome. One thing I definitely prefer on the 6-inch over the 3 3/4 inch is the cape. It just sits on his shoulder way nicer. I think it just looks way nicer. I definitely prefer the cape on the 6-inch Black Series. Deco-wise, the 6-inch Black Series is definitely dirtier, 100% dirtier than the TVC. So that's a complete objective opinion. I think it should probably look more like this, so I'm going to say I prefer the weathering. The sculpt, though, that helmet is amazing, but I actually think I slightly prefer the TVC helmet sculpt. I don't know, man. It just looks very Stormtrooper-y, and I'm very happy about that. One other odd thing to note, though, the Black Series has a holster, but the TVC does not. Hopefully the TVC Stormtrooper coming out will have a holster. I don't remember if it does. Oh, look at that. That's the answer. I don't remember what it's going to be, so editing will have to solve that problem. So yeah, there's that comparison. A couple more comparisons. Here it is with the other TVC Solo, a Star Wars Story figure, that being the Range Trooper. This was a wide retail release. This is just a Walmart exclusive. The TVC Range is an amazing figure, but I think I like this a little more, man. We'll get to it. And then another final comparison. Here it is with the previous Vintage Collection Stormtrooper, so you can see, oh my gosh, yeah, it really needed an update. That helmet, I don't know what's going on with that helmet sculpt. It's pretty awful. And by the way, this is the corrected version of the TVC Stormtrooper. So yeah, this is the corrected one. Also has a removable helmet for whatever reason, and you've got a little face underneath. I try not to remove the helmet because it's painted flesh tone, and the flesh tone wears off on the nose. So yeah, let's just stop talking about that. So let's get on to this figure itself. So he holds the E11 really nice. He holds it in any awesome way you want him to. That is absolutely not a problem. This longer rifle, though, it's not as good of a grip. Now, granted, he has the wrist articulation to hold the rifle nice and straight, but the handle is just sculpted so large, it's a bit of a problem. Then you kind of try to get him. I mean, he can hold it. It takes some effort, but he can hold it. And he looks pretty decent with it. I just think it's a little too long. I think it just looks a little too goofy for my taste. I'm happy he includes it because the 6-inch one does not. But yeah, I just think it's a little too long design-wise, personally. So when I have him with the rifle, I just have it strapped over his shoulder like that because I think that's the best look. So that's the accessories out of the way. Let's get on to articulation because we've already covered detail. So the head, popping off his head, it is on a double ball peg, so naturally it's going to be amazing. You get all of the tilt you would ever want. He moves up pretty good. He moves down pretty good for a 3 3/4 inch figure. The head articulation is certified good. Shoulder articulation is pretty average. Elbow articulation, you can see the sculpt's kind of weird. I'm not going to lie, the sculpt's a little odd. And I think it's supposed to go this way. But it does bend pretty nice, a little over 90 degrees. The wrist articulation is kind of like the Clone Wars clones where it's, you know, in and out on this and then it's up and down on this. But the range is notable because the range is pretty much all of the way. So that is very appreciated. What can I say, man? Ball joint at the waist there, it's exactly what you want. The hips, we need to talk about these hips because they are brand new hips. On these old hips, you don't have a thigh swivel, so that's how the leg moves forward. And I mean, it moves forward good on this older figure, and I mean, you can get him kneeling, but it looks a little awkward, and it just works a little awkward because there's no thigh swivel. And they also look kind of goofy. With this one, let's just say this is how they would look on the old one, but thanks to the thigh swivel, boom, you don't have to see that. And also, the joint moves with how it was pretty much the same as the other one, but with that thigh swivel, you can keep the armor consistent. You can keep it looking more consistent and nice. Then you have a knee bend, which is really nice and deep. You also have a knee swivel, of course, and then pretty standard 3 3/4 inch ankles to give you that much range, and they rotate. I wish they would start putting ankle rockers on these guys as the norm, but they don't, unfortunately, so we just have to deal with what we're getting. Yeah, man, this figure is an absolute win. It is one of the best, if not the best, 3 3/4 inch Stormtrooper Hasbro has released to date, counting all Stormtrooper variants. This figure is just remarkable. I'm definitely not going to have a problem owning 2 of it, despite not really being much of an army builder anymore. It is a must-have for TVC 3 3/4 inch fans. Even if you're just wanting a 3 3/4 inch figure, if you're a 6-inch guy and you just want to say, hey, what's all the hype about with TVC, I guess? Get this one, and then you'll kind of understand, hey, the smaller scale not only is good for world building, but is also now starting to be good for just genuinely good action figures. I don't know what world we're living in now, but this is the world it is, and I'm perfectly happy with it. Anyways, all of the videos I filmed tonight have been very rambly, so I'm just going to stop. Make sure to comment, like, and subscribe. Check out my social media links and my P.O. Box address down in the description below. Have a good day, guys, and as always, may the Force be with you. Bye.